Oof. Huh. Do do. Do 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 do. Oh. Oh, I don't feel too bad. That don't feel too bad. Ah. My throat is so trying to get rid of cocoa lung. The Cocodona 250 lung that everybody gets. Do 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 do. It is so windy out there. So I don't know how well this is gonna go, but we're gonna give her a go anyways. I have to do something. I'm like all crazy because my energy levels are coming back, but not doing anything is like making me so stir crazy. But I can't. I've been hanging out here in Arizona, so we're down in Black Canyon now just to warm up a little bit. Because it's a little bit colder up by Flagstaff. But it is there we go. It is quick. Good morning. My legs have been so messed up since the race, like so swollen and everything that I haven't wanted to, I didn't want to drive back to Montana. Plus, I still need to get one of my pieces of equipment from the live stream peoples because they rented some of my equipment. So we, my lungs and my throat are still messed up from the race. So I told them I would be hanging around here until Wednesday. So tomorrow I'm going to leave at some point and start heading north. But so hopefully they get me the equipment by then, but who knows? Oh, I should probably shut the windows up front. If not, they can either bring it with them to the next race, which I think is Western States that I'll be working with them, or mail it to me, one of the two. I don't care, but I have to leave here by Wednesday or tomorrow, at least tomorrow afternoon. Pretty much all my swelling is down on my legs, but they still hurt so bad. We're gonna see how this walk goes, but I'm pretty sure I didn't give myself. I'm pretty sure I got stress fractures from that race. Oh man. So much crud in my lungs still. After I finished the race, like a couple hours, I had a couple hours to just like take a nap or whatever before the gosh dang it, before the golden hour started, and so I wanted to make sure I was there for that. But when I woke up from that couple hour nap, I'm pretty sure I blew out a dead mouse out of my nose. That's what it looked like in the Kleenex afterwards. It was so bad. But okay. I need a hat. Let's grab. I wonder where the other hat's at. It must be in the other. I guess we'll wear this one. No, that one's not going to fit good enough, tight enough. Maybe this one. Because I need one that's going to fit good enough that the wind's not going to blow it off. Okay, we'll wear that one. I'm probably going to use sunglasses. We're not going to walk very far. Like, we'll probably be lucky to go a mile. But we'll see how we're feeling. Oh, it got cloudy all of a sudden. It was really sunny out here. Well, it's going to get sunny again, but... Ooh. You watched a lot of videos from the race. How did I do? My race didn't go as planned, but I finished, and compared to how I was doing at mile 30-ish, I will take a win. Like, just finishing is a win. I went through some things out there. Oh, it was rough. Let me close my windows really quick, which is probably gonna it might mess up the audio, so hold on. Okay. 250 miles is crazy? Yes. Yes, it is. I will never do it again. I say that now, but I'm pretty well serious. I will never do that again. Because that was just crazy. I think a combination between the weather, which I am not complaining about how cold it was, because if it was as hot as it usually is, I wouldn't have finished, I guarantee it. But do I have my keys? Yeah, just want to make sure. Oh man, that wind. We're gonna try and get up over this rise, and we should have a little bit less wind to worry about. But there was so much mud at one point that I was slipping around so much that I'm pretty sure I might have jacked up a tendon in my knee. Because I was running good through that mud despite how much I was slipping, but you know, you slip and then you hit a rock and it would just sudden like stop you from doing stuff, and the next morning I got like a 2-3 hour nap or something like that, and I woke up and my knee was swollen and it hurt so bad. It still hurts, it's not swollen anymore. I'm hoping the pain's gonna go away. But then I also like started having problems with my shins on both legs, but mostly my left leg. And I think I felt it the most whenever we had to like run and pound on pavement, like in going through cities, or there's like one section up on the Coconina Plateau before you go to get to Fort Huddle that you're on a paved road for a long time. Well, actually, you're on a paved road, but you're also on a forest road where the gravel, because of the rain that came through and then all the vehicles driving on it, whatever, it felt like freaking concrete. And so that stretch, it was like an 8-mile stretch. My legs hurt so bad afterwards that at that point I was like, it almost feels like I have stress fractures, because I've had stress fractures before. From then on, my legs were so swollen that, I couldn't really diagnose anything. It could just be swelling. But now that the swelling has gone down, my legs still ache. Pretty sure it's stress fractures. So, but we'll see. We're going to keep an eye out the next couple days. Might go to the doctor just to confirm, but being that I've had them before, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. But yeah, it was a rough race. I got, shortly after there's a reason why I didn't do any more streaming of the race. So shortly after I lost signal and I had to end the stream, at the beginning, I got a migraine. So then I had to fight through the vision stuff for about 3 miles. I pretty much was running on a very rocky road, like a Jeep trail, by feel, because I couldn't really see the trail, and then that's when like the real steep climb starts, and you're climbing for, what it ended up being a little, like almost 11,000 feet of climb, and over 24 miles, and I had to do that with a migraine headache. Fought through it, got to the top, and my right quad was damn near in muscle failure because I was pushing so hard because my head hurt, which you wouldn't think makes sense, but it does. I just needed to get that climb over with because my head hurt, so I was pushing pretty hard. I got to Crown King right on my splits where I wanted to be, and energy level wise I felt pretty good, but my legs were pretty well shot. Ate some good food. Let's back up a little bit. When I got to by the time I got to the top of the big climb, the first 50K, my stomach was not doing well, and I know it's because of my migraine I got causes like when I get migraines I get nauseous anyways. So I was having a hard time getting anything into my stomach, and then when I got to Crown King, luckily I was able to eat some stuff. I had a big old pulled pork sandwich. I drank a recovery shake. I able to eat some chips. I had some broth. Like, I ate a lot of food. Let's just put it that way. And then when you leave Crown King, you have another climb. But because my legs were shot, I was like, I just need to take it easy. Because I don't want to blast, blow out my quads this early into the race. So I was trying to just do a reset, taking it easy on that climb, and it was working. By the time I got where my legs were feeling pretty good though, because all the food I got in me, my stomach turned again. And it's, what is it, like a 13 mile to the next aid station, which is Arastra. So I pretty much went from Crown King to Arastra with zero food, just off of the food that I ate at Crown King, and hardly any water, because even sipping water was not doing well for my stomach. And so I was pretty much just zombie marching all the way to Arastra. And I got to Arastra, and I was gonna call it, because I was like, I cannot continue on like this. It took me twice as long to get to Arastra as I figured it would, because that's a very runnable section. And I got to Arastra way later than I wanted to be. I was, at that point, it would have been about 5 hours behind now. I lost 5 hours in a 12-mile section, or 13-mile section. So oh, gosh dang. Definitely don't need to freaking wreck myself on some rocks. Still recovering here. But anyways, I rolled into Arastra, and even the aid station people were like, "You don't look so good." And I'm like, "Yeah, I haven't had any nutrition or anything for 6 hours with my stomach." And I'm like, "Well, what can we do for you?" I'm like, "Can I just get some hot water and try and reset my stomach?" Let's go over this way, I think. And so they gave me some hot water, and I was sipping on that, and I was doing okay with it. My stomach was liking it. So then I was like, got another cup of hot water, and I was like, okay, what do you guys got to eat? Gosh dang it, freaking mesquite trees. And they're like, well, we have grilled cheese sandwiches. I was like, well, I'll try that. It didn't sound appealing to me, but I was like, I'll try it. I took one bite of that grilled cheese sandwich, and my mouth and stomach said, yes, please. That thing slapped so hard. I looked at the guy. He was watching me, to see how I reacted, and I looked at the guy and I was like, can I have 5 more of these? He was like, yes! So I sat there and I ate freaking I don't know how many of those things I ate. I had at least 5. I think I really had 6 or 7 of them. And then I just sat there a little bit and let it kind of digest and all this. And then I started to get ready to go. And there was some girl that was getting ready to take off as well. Can I go around grilled cheese? I know. And because the next section was a huge climb. And keep in mind, this is the coldest, wettest weather they've ever had this time of year. And so the next climb, because we're up in you can't see the mountains now. The mountain's back here. The next climb is the highest aid station on the whole route. And it started off wet and rainy. And by the time we got to the top, me and her just working together, by the time we got to, my legs were now completely reset, feeling great. My stomach was feeling great. I was able to just grind out that climb. But by the time we got to the top, it was snowing on us. And then the snow went away, but it was cloud cover. We were up in the cloud. And with headlamps on, because it's the middle of the night, headlamps on, it's you can't see but maybe 3 feet in front of you. So it was a little bit slow going, but we got into that camp she had to take a nap because she was falling asleep. We were like a mile away, and she was literally falling asleep while we were walking, and I kept pushing her forward, like, come on, we're almost there. Just make it there, because you do not want to take a trail nap in this kind of weather. So we got there, and you know, I again just ate some real food. I don't even remember what I had there. I had like some potato soup and some other things. And then I kept pushing on, and I ran most of the next section at a very slow pace because it was downhill. And then ran to the next section and got to Crown King and ate some pizza and a bunch of other stuff. Completely reset everything because that's when I had my first drop bag. And then I hooked up with these two guys from Boston. I think they're from Boston. Sounds right. Somewhere back in the Northeast. And got through the next section with them. And then the very next section I was doing by myself. And it's in these big, you have to go through this long cow fields. It's called Fain Ranch. But you're like going through these fields. There's no trail or anything. You're just going cross country through these fields. And everything's still muddy from all the rain we got the whole day before. And I got about 1.5 miles from the next aid station, which is the Fain Ranch aid station, out in the middle of this field. And all of a sudden this thunderstorm came out of nowhere. And it was like, I first started getting hit with hail, and then it turned straight into just this torrential downpour, and I just had to book it. I was like so wet and cold. I rolled into the aid station, and the aid station was not equipped for weather like that, because they just had pop-up tents, like these big ass pop-up tents, very well built, but they didn't have any walls or anything on them. So everybody at the aid station's all huddled in all this stuff. And they like cheered me on. I was the first person to come in off of this rain. And the rain lasted for about 45 minutes or so. It was like, as soon as I got there, they were like, they could tell I was freezing. They're like, go dry out over by the fire pit. So I go over to the fire pit, and as soon as I get over there, one of the tents completely collapses because it had so much water on top. And when it collapsed, all the water rushed down off one of the edges and put out the fire pit. I was like, yep, this figures. And it took me they finally got, like they had to, because the whole aid station was completely flooded. And so they had to, like after the rain, it took a while. They had to they were using like brooms to try and sweep out all the water and all this kind of stuff. And they got the fire pit started, and I was able to start drying out a little bit. But I was shivering so bad I couldn't eat anything because my hands wouldn't let me. I was like, it would have been like food flying everywhere trying to eat because I was shaking so bad. And the next aid station is where I was supposed to pick up my crew, and they were waiting up there for me. And now, I mean, you gotta figure I'm about 7 hours behind schedule. And I was messaging them, and I was like, I got caught in that storm. Oh, which, by the way, there was a funnel cloud. It almost had a tornado touchdown out of that storm. They had video of the funnel cloud coming out of it. But I was like, I texted them and I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to continue on. I'm so freezing and wet and cold. Like I was shivering so bad I couldn't even text them. I had to have one of the aid station people text them for me like hand him my phone and be like, can you tell him this? And Alex, my crew chief, was like, hey, it'll only take me 20 minutes to drive down there with your van. So I'm going to drive down there, and the pacer will come as well, and we're going to get you warmed up and get you going. And so they did. They came down, and that was a lifesaver for me. We got all reset, got warm, got some new clothes on, and my pacer, who wasn't supposed to take me until the top of Mingus on, was like, you want me to just go from here? I'm ready, I can do it. And I was like, I looked, because I knew how the trail conditions were so sloppy, because we still had to go through more cow field before we got to the actual trail going up to the top of Mingus Mountain. And she's wearing these nice bright white, like Topo athletic shoes, and I'm like, I was like, nah, your shoes will get like super muddy, I don't want you to do that. And she's like, no, it's okay. I'm like, are you sure? And I'm so glad she did, because now I'm like super tired. Because realistically, I would have been, if I was on schedule, when I got into Mingus Mountain is when I would have got into Sedona, which is where I had my first scheduled sleep spot at. But it started raining again, and it was so wet and sloppy going to the top of Mingus Mountain that it took us a little bit while, but she kept pushing me, which was awesome. Kept me going a lot faster than I would have if I was by myself. And it wasn't like super cold that night, but it was definitely wet. And then I decided, well, pretty much they decided for me, that you're gonna get a few hours of sleep on top of Mingus. And so coming down off of Mingus the next morning, because I got there about like 1 o'clock in the morning, and so I ate some food. They had lasagna out there. I smashed like 3 bowls of lasagna, and then I did not want to make the trek down from the top of Mingus Mountain until it got daylight again. And I guess daylight here around 5ish in the morning, so I was like, oh yeah, I'll sleep till 4, and then I'll wake up, because it'll take me an hour probably to loosen back up again and get going. I woke up after, it was about 2.5 hours of sleep, and I felt great. Legs were completely reset. Stomach was doing really great. And so I started that run down off of Mingus. And the first part of it was awesome. It was a little muddy. But the second half of that, because it's about, what's that, 15 miles? The second half of that was atrocious. It was so muddy. And that's where I'm pretty sure I jacked up my knee. Even though I couldn't really tell it. I mean, I could feel it a little bit, but I couldn't. It wasn't swollen or anything. Maybe we'll just walk up here a little bit, and then we'll turn around. And I made pretty good time. I ran most of that section. I actually beat them to the next aid station. I rolled in there, and the crew's like, oh, do you need anything? And I'm like, I remember what, they had tacos. I was like, I'll just eat a couple tacos. They're like, you need anything else? I'm like, no, my crew will be here. I just beat my crew here. And they're like, gosh dang, you're doing pretty good then. And I was like, well, in their defense, they had to go get my van because I used it last night to sleep on top of Mingus. So anyways, that was in Jerome, and so I had to wait for them to show up, which was about probably half an hour, so I had a good little, was able to eat some good food and all that, and then they showed up, it's a dead horse. And I want to go down there. I think we'll just go back. Anyway, so we dropping down out of Jerome, and we were moving good. Like, I felt good. Made it through the river crossing. I was feeling good. Got all the way into Dead Horse. I was feeling good. And then all of a sudden she's like, okay. So we got to Dead Horse, and I think I cleaned my feet up, changed my socks, probably changed the shirt and some shorts. Ate, I don't know what they had there, burritos or something. Ate a couple of those. We took off to Deer Pass, and I was not expecting her to pace me that section, and she was like, let's go, because that would have been like a 20 total together, that would have been like a 23-mile section probably, after she did the night before another 12-mile section. So I was like, Pacer is freaking killing it. She's so awesome. And we ran most of that section to Deer Pass. So I got into Deer Pass and I was feeling pretty good. And I ate they had hot dogs there. So I smashed like 2 hot dogs. And then what I'm not telling you guys is because my stomach was not handling anything really super sweet and sugary, and pretty much all of my snacks that I packed for me to be able to take was all, sugary sweet type of snacks. So whenever I left the aid station, I was taking stuff to go. So for like that one, I took 2 hot dogs to go and just stuffed them in my vest. But I got to, so then my crew chief, Alex, which is her husband, all of a sudden he's getting all ready to go pace. And I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm pacing you to Sedona. And I'm like, oh, okay. That's awesome. Because I didn't know he was going to be doing any of that. And so we took off to Sedona, but by then my legs were starting to hurt, like my knee especially. But it still wasn't swollen or anything. And it was it took longer than I thought it would take to get to Sedona. I did not run much of that section, which it had surprisingly had a lot of climbing anyway. And then mentally, I was spent by then for the day. I was getting so crabby. Like, the route the race director had us going, because I know that area really well. And I'm like, why the hell does he have us? Like, this is just ridiculous, having us just going up and over like the same ridge a couple times, like for no reason, when there's a trail that's more direct. It's like, why do you do this? It doesn't make any sense. Because now you're just doing it to do it. Which, when race directors do that, I'm like, why do you do that? Anyways, I got into Sedona. I was hurting pretty good. But by the time we got in there, it worked out perfect. I did not want to do the climb out of Sedona because that trail, from everything I heard, that trail is like sketchy. Like, beautiful trail, but it's like the Hangover Trail. You're talking like 800-foot drop-offs of slick rock, and it's hard to see the trail markers at night. So I was like, I'm not going to attempt that until the next morning. So I got about like it worked out to where I would have about 2.5 hours. Had a big old burger. Before I went to, well, I ate half of my burger before I went to sleep. I woke up like an hour later and my burger was sitting on my chest and I was like, had still a bite in my cheek and everything. So I finished eating my burger and I fell back asleep again. But then I woke up after like 3 hours. I think I got 3 hours of sleep. And again, I was going to wake up at like 4 in the morning. So I have about an hour to get everything, get all loosened up and get ready to go and all that before sunlight. And I woke up and I went to like roll over and move my leg. And my knee hurt so bad. I couldn't even bend my knee. It was really swollen, just on like the left-hand side of my knee. Like you just touched it and it hurt. Like it hurt so bad. And so I was like, this cannot be the end of my race. Because I couldn't, like I said, I couldn't even bend my knee. I'm like, there's no way I'm going to make a climb out of frickin' Sedona if I can't bend my knee. So I texted my crew and I was like, told them the situation. I was like, I don't even know what to do. I'm going to try and just do some stuff and see if it works. And I was able to at least get my knee to move. It still hurt really bad. And my buddy Tom was working the aid station and went to go leave and he was like, oh, how you doing? And I was like, dude, I almost was just going to call it quit because I couldn't even move my knee. And he looked down and he could see how much it was swollen. He was like, oh, damn. He's like, it didn't look like that 3 hours ago. I was like, I know. I don't know what happened in the middle of the night. So I took off trying to do that climb. And that hangover trail, that was no joke. It was like really angled, slick rock on a lot of it. So then that's putting more pressure on my knee because now you're like side hilling and having to, carefully. I was like, even there's certain sections you have to frickin', you're on all fours to get up the side of that slick rock. And then you get onto the Forest Service road to finish the climb. And I got to the top of the water point and got some water. And I made it from that water point to the Foxborough aid station. Like I got about halfway there. I don't know what it is, like maybe 4 or 5 miles from the water station. And I made it a couple miles down the road. And I had such a low moment, like the lowest moment I've had ever in a race. I sat down on a rock, just burst into tears, had frickin' pity party for myself. It was not good. And I kind of pulled myself together as much as I could. And I got into the aid station and my crew was like, yay! And as soon as I saw them, I burst into tears again. And then as I was walking to my van, I saw Wes Plate, who's like just a staple in these type of distance running. And I've known him for a few years now. And he stopped me and talked to him for a little bit. He gave me some CBD balm for my knee, which helped so much. And then kind of talked me out of the low point. And, I took a little bit of time, but reset myself in that next section. You can't have pacers, and it's a 16-mile section because there's an endangered species, Mexican spotted owl. So the permits only allowed the racers to go through that section. And it's a very runnable section, but it's nothing but gravel road or Jeep trail. There's no single track, no nothing. And I made it through that pretty good time, but not as fast as I would have liked to. And then the next section, so my pacer, Carmen, because of the previous day, well, 2 days of pacing me, you know, taking it all on, she was having issues with her back and everything, so she had to she couldn't pace me anymore. So my crew chief, he decided to pace me from Munns Park to Fort Tuttle, so going through 2 different things. Hello, Rachel. Aren't you supposed to be at AT or something? And I felt sorry for him because that's when I was starting to feel the stuff in like my lower parts of my legs, my shins and everything. And those 2 sections were a lot of hard packed road or paved road. And it hurt so bad that I couldn't move very fast. We would run every now and then until the pain, I told him, we'll run until the pain gets so bad that I can't run anymore. Sometimes that would be 30 seconds, sometimes that would be 2 or 3 minutes. But by the time we got to Fort Tuttle, my legs hurt so bad that even to walk a 30-minute mile on flat stuff was like pushing it for me. I pretty much had to mentally just zone out and not like try to like just to push through the pain. Like, felt sorry for Alex because he's like trying to be a good pacer and push me and everything, and I just couldn't acknowledge him, couldn't talk to him, nothing. And he was like, yeah, I noticed after a while you were just trying to get through the pain. And so we got into Fort Tuttle, and I had to use like one of their cots there because, you know, with Alex now being my only person and him pacing me, which I'm so glad he did because I wouldn't have made it through those sections if he didn't. But now my van is back at Munns Park, so he actually had to get one of the other people there gave him a ride back to Munns Park. One of the other trail crews, or one of the other crews, gave him a ride back to Munns Park to get the van. But because I didn't have my van, so I had to use one of the cots to sleep on. And I went to get going there. The next section again is there's no pacers, and it was another 16-mile section. I just love how the longest 2 sections there's no pacer, which were nice. But at least the timing worked out to where it was morning again, so I was able to go through it in the morning. And I was feeling good enough that I could have ran a lot more of that section, but also it was towards the end, because that section was that was probably my favorite section, because the trail conditions were so awesome. Especially once you get over towards Walnut Canyon, that single track was so cool. But now it was hot. Like, this is the hottest day I had. And I was feeling it. And I took 4 water bottles with me, knowing that it was a long section. It would probably be a little warmer. I got within like a few miles at the end, and I was almost out of water. So it was like, yeah, I could have ran, but if I did, I would have ran out of water because I would have heated up a lot more. So I just had to take it easy. And then I got about probably 4 miles from the aid station, and all of a sudden here comes Jeff Browning cheering us all on, running down the course. So he stopped and talked to me for a little bit, gave me some encouragement, and I continued on, pushed into Walnut Canyon, and my crew was not supposed to meet me there. He was going to meet me at Wildcat. From Wildcat up over the top of from Wildcat up over the top of Mount Eldon and everything. And he's like, I'm spent, because he wasn't supposed to be one of my pacers. So he was like, I'm spent, so I can't pace you anymore. But I was like, oh, that's fine. Like, I'm okay with that. Like, I wasn't expecting to have him have a pacer for that as much as I've already had anyway. So I was like, no, dude. So then I had to do the next section into Wildcat by myself. And I got into Wildcat. Well, that section I got lost for one. So that took a little bit longer for me to get through that section. And for whatever reason, my energy levels, even though I had like some good food at Walnut Canyon, my buddy Tom was there again. I was walking, like power hiking, a lot faster than I was earlier, but I wasn't able to run, and there's a lot of runnable in that section. And then so between that and getting lost, it took me a little bit longer to get through that section. And then I got to Wildcat, and that's where Pete's Meats is, so I was able to eat some good meat, some good food. And then he even made me a couple steak wraps to go that I could take on. Saw your face on Instagram? Nice. Yeah. But from Wildcat up and over the top of Eldon, well, up to the top of Eldon, let's put it that way, I felt great. I was grinding that thing. I was moving. I passed probably 10 or 12 people on that climb, just feeling great. And then coming down, I got stuck behind some people that were not moving good. And it's like really technical, super steep. There's no way to pass anybody unless they step off to the side. Well, because there was like 5 of them stacked up behind each other, I didn't really have any opportunities to pass anybody. And finally, I just had to be like, can I just get around you guys? Because you guys, I'm like, and there was like 3 of us that were stacked up behind him by that point. Like, can we just move around you guys? I know you guys don't want to stop, but we're moving a little bit better. And so we got around them about halfway down. And then the 2 that were backed up behind me, obviously were moving faster than me, so I let them go by. And by the time I got down to the bottom, there was like, they were out of sight. So then I'm like, okay, I got like 2 miles to the aid station. This won't take me that long. I'm almost out of water. And I had no idea. I thought it would just be a nice trail going over to the aid station, and it was not. I told Steve, the race director, afterwards, I'm like, what the hell is up with that trail from the bottom of Eldon over to the aid station? Is that like you just giving us the big FU one last time? Like, gosh dang. And I even said it on the live stream. I was like, because they were talking to me, and I'm like, that trail from the bottom of Eldon over to the aid station for these people that are chasing cutoffs is going to be a big surprise for them, because it took me an hour to go those 2 miles, and I was feeling pretty good, like, and it took me 2 hours because that trail was so rocky and bouldery, and it just kept going up the hillside, down the hillside, up the hillside, down the hillside, just doing this little, like this, the whole way around the base of Mount Eldon. It's like, this is awful. Anyways, got into the last aid station, and I was falling asleep, and then road going back where I'm at. Must be up here somewhere. So I was falling asleep, and then out of water, and they're like, going to the aid station, I'm like, coffee. And they're like, do you need any water or anything like that? I'm like, no, just coffee. And because I am falling asleep, and I need to like get to the end. So they gave me some coffee. I was able to wake back up again. And I just refilled like one of my bottles just a little bit. Because from there you only have 4 miles to finish, and 3 miles of that is like easy trail, like you're coming through Buffalo Park and then you're on the streets. So I know, I'm very familiar with all that. So I took off and I ran most of that last section. But it sucked. Like, I got done. Like I said, I couldn't, like, knee was swollen. Both my feet and ankles were completely just really, really swollen, really bad. My shins hurt, which, like I said, I'm pretty sure I have stress fractures and stuff. Just a little bit of swelling on my left ankle, foot. I'm pretty sure I strained some tendons in my actual left foot too, because I have a bruise on the top of my foot, like right in the middle of my foot, on the top side, and it hurts. We'll see. If the pain doesn't go away in the next couple of days, then I'm going to have to go to the doctor and see if have some x-rays taken. Make sure I didn't, like, injure myself worse. Here's my road going back. I'll probably leave here tomorrow afternoon to head back to Montana because I have to get my dog, baby it for a bit. Yeah. Well, I haven't done anything. Gosh dang, that wind is horrible. Trying to block the mic and I can't because the way the wind's blowing. Of course, the last bit is where it's going to get really bad. If I go this direction, is that better? I can't hear anything because the stuff going through. Going past my ears, but yeah, I haven't done, like, I've been just laying around for the last couple days. I haven't done anything. Like, I haven't gone for a walk, I haven't done anything, just because the swelling was still pretty bad up until last night. Well, until this morning, I guess. When I woke up, I could tell there was a huge difference. But I had to go for a walk or something today because, like, my lower back and stuff was starting to ache from just sitting around and laying around all day. So I had to do something. So I figured a walk, since the things don't hurt as bad or not as swollen, I guess. Well, they don't hurt as bad either, but I figured a walk would be beneficial. Maybe I'll do another walk tonight. ups and downs, yeah. I can honestly say, out of anything, I learned a lot. Had to troubleshoot and get through things that I've never had to deal with before. It was an experience that I will never regret. But if I knew what I was going to go through, I would have never done it. It's supposed to be as warm today, so I should be able to keep at least a couple of my doors closed, like maybe just have one door open, because it is supposed to be super windy. Like right now it's not even as windy as it's supposed to be. It's supposed to get even windier here in like what, 2 hours till I want to say like 11 o'clock tonight. It's supposed to be so windy. Okay, well, ooh, look at that. Now we're behind the van, so it's not windy anymore. Oh, okay. Let's get you guys down really quick. I'll be right back. We can chat for a bit. No biggie. New follow. Okay, I will knock out that push-up. I can do push-ups. I just wish I would have noticed it before I jumped back in the van. That's okay. Oh. I'm just gonna turn that off. I gotta be trying to search good vittles in my van. A couple bees, it looks like. I gotta find a good spot to do these push-ups on. Yeah, this will do. A little windy, but it'll do. Yeah, supposedly my dog is having lots of fun. I texted the lady that's watching my dog for me, and she was like, I was like, hey, like it might take me a few days to get back. So she didn't get to spend any time with my dog. So she's having fun. Latest watch my dog has. But whew, man. Yeah, I can tell this one ankle still got a little bit of swelling on it. Not too bad though. Not too bad. See my ankle bone again, so that's way better than it was. Oh, I keep trying to put it up, have it raise it above your heart or whatever. So we're trying that. There we go. It's like, I don't know why my phone's having issues here. What the hell? I don't know. I can see it in my stream manager that it's definitely having issues, but I jumped back onto my my Starlink. Should be fine. I don't know why it's having issues. No reason for this to have issues, because everything else looks good. My lips are all chapped, like just horribly. Try and set you guys back down again now that it seems to be working. But yeah, I finished the race. That's all that matters. Everybody kept asking me, even at the beginning, and I did have like a time goal that I really wanted to. Lips better than nips, that's for sure. Like what my goal was, and I was like, well, I do have a time goal, but my goal is just a finish. And then when my time goal was like, there was no chance in hell, it just changed to just a finish. I didn't care. It's chafing problems. Like, I've never had issues like that before. And I was using like body so wet and rainy for the first 2 days that it, like, you couldn't keep putting the stuff on fast enough. And so like my butt cheeks and crotch area just got so chafed. It was so painful by the end that was another thing that was keeping me from moving as fast as I could. Was it a crazy goal? No, it was realistic. It was a very modest goal. Like I said, when I got in, like after the first 50K, I was right on my time goal. But then I just had those issues. Like that next section, I just had those issues that just kept putting me further and further down. So having to work through things that I've never had to work through before. But that was fine. Pretty much, if you took all the time that I had to spend resetting and regrouping at all the different aid stations and stuff like that, if you could take that block of time and subtract it from my finish time, and I would have been right on my goal time. But I'm happy. I'm happy with my time. With what I had to go through, I'm actually really happy with my time. What was I, like 6 hours, I want to say? 6 or 7 hours ahead of cutoff, so I'll take it anytime. I'm so happy. Oh, I better stop my watch, I guess. I never did do that. Just over 2 miles. My watch before Munns Park, for whatever reason, we had been trying to charge it. I don't know why it wasn't charging throughout the race, but we, like every aid station, we would put it on the charger for, 10, 15 minutes. And then, like right after Foxborough, between Foxborough and Munns Park is where it died. So then I just started tracking on Strava on my phone. And then I got to Munns Park and put it back on the charger again for a little bit, and I was able to get it charged up to like 71%. So then I started using it from there, my watch again, and 71% should have made it to the end. And I got right to, I didn't notice it, so then I lost the last 4 miles. Because then afterwards I spliced everything together and then re-uploaded it into Strava as one file. And it just, but there was no way to capture that last 4 miles. But whatever. I'm gonna sit back on the bed for a little bit. I don't know why there's bees coming in here. The flowers are out on the frickin' cactuses, not in here. Because the prickly pears are starting to bloom. I don't know what the heck they're doing. Get away from me. Here, I'm gonna actually take this off. Here we go. That right there. I'm out of sparkling waters. I'm out of lots of stuff. Oh, there we go. Oh, so much better. So much better. Ooh. Wow, it is getting windy out there. Like I said, it's supposed to be, like, the windiest part is supposed to be here in about 2 hours. Well, what time did I say it was? Yeah, 8:30, so about 2.5 hours, I guess. It took me 2 days to just not be, like, feel so exhausted. I was, like, yesterday and the day before, I took probably, I don't know, 10 or 12 naps throughout the day. Did I get to do dinner with my mom? Yeah, I did. Yeah, before I left to come down here. I did. And I think what I'm going to do when I go back to go pick my doggo up, because I'll be in the same town as her again, is probably spend maybe a day or two with her, but we'll see timing wise how that works out, because it's the weather is not supposed to be pleasant up there, so I may not stick around. We'll see. We will see. But I did get to spend quite a bit yesterday trying to work on some of my videos that I need to get uploaded. I'm about a year behind on uploading videos into YouTube. I don't know what is going on with my freaking... I'm connected to my Starlink now, and it still is like having issues. Don't know. I don't know if you guys can hear how bad the wind's getting outside, but it is going nuts right now. You're going nuts. Gonna have to have some sort of soup for lunch today. Ow. Oh, okay, well, I'm gonna go, everybody. We're gonna try and get some stuff done on the computer. I actually have to do some business stuff. And then I gotta contact Mountain Outpost and find out if they found my Starlink yet that they rented from me. I got one of them back. But the other one was at one of the aid stations for a fixed camera. So it got loaded up into a box truck, I'm guessing, and so they had to wait for the box truck to unload. So see if they found it or not. And then if they did, then I might cruise over there this afternoon to go get it. If they did not, I'll give them until tomorrow morning. And then, but I'll leave tomorrow afternoon. If they haven't found it yet, then I'm going to leave tomorrow afternoon. But I got to send them my invoice. Well, I'm not sending them my invoice until they find my Starlink. And then they can either mail it. If they did find it, I'll go get it. If they didn't, then if they do find it, they can mail, like after I leave, they can mail it to me, or just bring it to Western States when we go there. I'm okay with that because I'm not going to use it anyways. And then, yeah. But anyways, I'm going to go. We're going to get some stuff done. And luckily it's not going to be as hot, so we're going to be actually probably pretty chilly in here. So yeah, anyways, thanks everybody for joining me today, and I will see you guys maybe tomorrow. We'll see. I don't know. It's kind of, the next couple weeks are going to kind of be weird because I'm doing recovery. So if I'm near a gym, I'm going to do probably just some bike stuff for recovery. And if If I'm not during the gym, then it's probably just gonna be mostly walking on like mostly flat stuff, but we'll see. We'll see how the legs are feeling, because I have to start my next training block in about 3 weeks. So I need to focus on recovery so that I can start that next training block. And this is an important one for me. This is the one where I'm actually going to try to win a race. So, so we got to do well. See how my body responds. As long as I'm not injured, we'll put it that way. But yeah, thanks everybody. I'll see you guys next time. Bye everyone. Love y'all.